hell was that?
This is the hell you have created for yourself.
Just standing up for my rights as a consumer.
Hey yo, howdy, happy Thursday. What's up, everybody? Thanks for being here for another Rogues Gallery. We got some cool guests to talk to, but before we talk to them, I'm going to talk to you. We got Pale Rider in the chat. What's up, my man? Always good to see you, brother. Keep on dancing. Chris Fisk is in the house. How you doing, my friend? Glad to see you as well. We got Bobby Campbell here. What's up, my man? Chimera's in the house. Says, where am I? You know where you are. You're in the gays community. You're in the thick of it. You love it. Thanks for being here. Fearsome Bullet is here. What's up, my man? The death of Star Wars. Yeah, man. It really is sad. But we have to move on with our lives. We have to. And we will. Marinus is in the house. What's up, my friend? Thanks for being here, brother. You can always slide in if you want to. We'd love to talk to you. Wookiee Supremacy's here. What's up, my man? Hail, Wookiee. Says, accept the gays agenda into your life. You wouldn't want to be a bigot, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. Of course not. Parrot Head's here. What's up, my man? How you doing, brother? Let's say hello to NyRiam. What's up, NyRiam? How you doing?
We have another, you said Thursday. I call it like after hump day.
After hump day?
Yeah.
Is it like dry hump day?
I don't know. Is it dry for you?
No, it's a little moist in the air, I guess. Fearsome Bullet says Cecil sent me. Awesome. Chimera is changing his avatar already. Yes, it's showing. There you are. But yeah, we also have another special co-host here. We got Rookie Critic in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Hello there. I'm the Rookie Critic, so you don't have to.
So you don't have to.
So we're going to be the nice people, and you're actually going to be the critical person.
Yes.
Perfect.
Actually, I'm the most criticalist person ever. So there we go. Mm-hmm.
Love it already.
That's a little weird, Rookie. Just saying. Johnny Cage is here. What's up, man? He says hump day. Is that a thing? That's what they call Wednesday. Yeah, you can take that however you want.
But today is after hump day.
It's dry hump day. Yes. The writer says I'm here mainly to see Chris leaning over that car. Oh, well, you know the rules. If Chris doesn't show up, then he gets the car.
I thought that meant like Chris Farley leaning against a car or something.
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of that. There's a taste, Pale Rider. Uncalled for.
So, as
So-
usually.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, hold on. Let's say hello to our featured guest, our first guest, Adega Outlaws in the house. What's up, man?
Hey, neighbors are mad at me. You throw one cat on the roof trying to get your frisbee down, and they get pissed. Wasn't my cat, but I thought it would do the job.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
these cats are whimsical. They kind of do whatever they feel like. You never know. It could have worked, especially if you actually hit the frisbee with the cat on the throw.
I was stoned with catnip too, but no, well. What's
Chimera
going on?
says he'll be leaning over when you run over his. Oh, okay. not too much has gone on, but this fine gentleman right here is a writer, and he's got some books we're going to talk about. I always get a phone call as soon as the stream starts. I don't know what's going on with that.
Popular guy. It's the police.
It
Swatted
could
you
be.
just before I came on. So.
It was coming from the state capitol, so you never know. Fearsome Bullet says, Red Gaze, will you be involved in future Comicsgate trailers, black and white? Possibly. Usually when I'm asked, I say yes. It's pretty much as simple as that. Not always, sometimes I got things going on, but yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'm always down. Fisk says, I'm scouring Amazon for picture frames for the awesome Sunsworn swag I got yesterday. That's stuff
Yeah, when
going up on the
you
walls.
buy it, when you get this package deal, like you get like 5 frames. Can you send me one?
Well, yours is on the way. Just be patient.
I'm talking about the frames.
Oh, the frames. You don't have frames over there in that third world country?
And I was just thinking of making some kind of very, very good, deal with Chris. So yeah.
I gotcha. Well, thank you, Chris, very much for that. But the reason for the season, at least this, half-hour season or whatever, is Adega himself. Do you want to tell us a little bit about? Well, you know what? I have a format that I'm already ignoring. But so you got several books on here, so the pitch isn't going to work. So let's start with the creator. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What got you into writing? Where's your fire, your passion come from?
You know what? I think probably everybody knows. Once upon a time, I was a doctor, and I've known a lot of people over the years. And because my health said, you can't do that anymore, I was sitting around and, I had ideas in my head, but nothing big. And my wife started smacking me in the head, said, "You're not going to sit around doing nothing now that you're retired and whining about your health." So I decided to put the ideas down. The one with the eyeball on the far right, the evolution, the main character for that has been in my brain forever, but all the rest came as I wrote it. So, just one of those things. Keep me busy.
Dude, just gonna say that you sound like 20 years old.
No, not even close. I'm the old fart here.
But he's probably glad to hear it.
Yeah, I figured, but yeah, it really sounds, young. So. Yeah.
Well, tell you what, Adega, why don't you give us a little pitch for evolution?
Okay. There was a couple of things. My health, believe it or not, I'm doing actually pretty well, but things are supposed to be pretty bad. And I had someone approach me who said, why don't I write your memoirs? And I said, you know what? I got the capability. I've been writing x-ray reports and patient reports for years. Why don't I just write something? And they said, okay. And when they left, I figured, screw that. I'm going to write a story. And the main character is based on people that I've known, as well as some healthcare things that I've learned. I'm getting into genetics. We know that there's codons and telomeres, different parts of the DNA that we have no idea, or maybe just a rudimentary idea what they did. And so I figured, well, wouldn't it be cool if somewhere down the line, 1,000 years from now, they actually figured out how to enhance it? And it was something very, very rare. This guy gets a hold of it, and it's a story about him finding out some of the weird things that humans never knew, that we were actually an extremely ancient race that had been nearly wiped out, and who we are now is based on a very small group of people that survived the ancient apocalypse and going out and discovering who knows what and why. So that's pretty much evolution. Like I said, you start off with one main character and then it adds into others. In each successive book, and you know this, when you want to write something that goes after, you have to add new people. You have to add, in sci-fi, you want to add new technology. If it's fantasy, you want to add something to that universe that's new. So each one adds significant more to the story.
Right. And yours is very much more like straight science fiction, correct?
Straight science fiction, yeah.
More so than science fantasy.
Right. There's no fantasy in it all. It's all stuff that's very, very plausible. And some of it's actually taken from events that people have considered for years. Some of the conspiracy theories. What if some of them were actually true? And what would happen if, say, like, there are beliefs that there was a breakaway civilization back at the time of the German people who were very bad, and that they had technology that, sorry about the dog in the background, that had gotten them off planet. And what if that was real? And these people set up a society that extended far beyond our solar system. And what kind of things would they do to the rest of humanity? And it gets into that more and more detail. I have one that I'm finishing up that I'm going to put on there. It's kind of a prequel that deals almost exclusively with that society.
Well, that's very cool. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy, like me personally, my preference is kind of like a space fantasy type of thing, but there are some like straight up science fiction that I can get down with. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd classify Star Trek a little more sci-fi than. I mean, there's some fantasy in there, I guess, but you never know what's out there, right? So that's just kind of like I was just using that as an example. Like Star Trek, I very much enjoy. Star Wars, I very much enjoy that kind of stuff. Yeah, Vinny says hit that like button. Yeah, let me just say hi to a couple people that popped in quick. Awesome one's here. Good to see you, my friend. We got Zaid Comics in the house. What's up, Phil?
Hey,
Good to see you, brother. Admiral Whackass. What's up, man? Good to see you. Steve Dies here as well. What's up, man? We're going to be talking to him in just a bit. I got JL Potts. Says that story sounds good. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. And I'd like to hear more about it. But I mean, I'll probably just get it and find out more about it.
Well, the first one's a novella, and I call it the door kicker. It's basically, it opens up the universe for you. And not necessarily science fantasy, but the part of evolution where I mentioned the codons and the telomeres, those type of things, they figure out that when it's used, certain people under certain circumstances, basically everyone who's a good person, will gain a mental ability of some sort, whether they could read minds, whether they can predict future events, even just seconds ahead, or an intense precognition. It goes off on that direction as well, adds that to it.
Gotcha. Delving in a little bit to the psionics.
Little bit.
Very cool. So what comes after this? How many books do you have released right now? Is it 3?
All the ones that are on the marquee are eventually going to be here until I get another publisher. I've had a couple. One I switched because the model was awesome, but I think you heard me talk about the COVID, some grifter editors, some missing hard drives due to some people south of the border stealing stuff. It basically ruined the company. The owners were great people. So I'm in between publishers. People love it. But I just, if I ever wanted to, I'd really push it. But right now, I'm on Springs, Teesprings, and they allow ebooks. And I know people prefer hard copies, but right now, if people want it, they can get the digital, and people are buying it. So, I'm not in any rush, but it's like your art form. people do prefer to have something on the shelves, and eventually I'm just going to have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely more of a physical media person myself. I would much prefer sitting down with a book rather than sitting down with a pad.
No, I'm the same way too.
But I know a lot of people who really, they're really into those Kindles, really into those. I don't even remember what the front one from Barnes and Nobles is called, but yeah, they really love them. Like they take them to the beach and they just sit there all day.
The added thing about that too is there's a lot of people. Like I have some people that are on, I'm sure you have friends that are always on the road driving truck or something, and they want to hear it instead of having the opportunity to sit and read it. So with those other devices, they can plug in their headset and just listen to the story.
Right. Well, Fearsome Bullet says, I love storytelling and world building. The latter is so difficult to do. How do you feel about world building? Did you find that difficult, or is it more of something that came naturally for you with this story in your head?
I think it was fairly easy. When I do things, I see the beginning and I see the end, and it's a matter of just finding the road between the two.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. I kind of feel the same way.
Great minds.
Wookiee Supremacy says the idea that people encountered massive catastrophes and suffered major depopulation is more believable than humans having smooth sailing from the beginning to now. Think about it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at history. There's been major catastrophe after major catastrophe. It's just kind of a cycle that perpetuates itself.
Yeah. Well, in the story, I'm giving away a little bit, which is okay. But the people over the series of books discover that humanity is actually millions upon millions of years old, and they only had been on Earth for a short time comparatively.
Which I think is completely plausible. It all depends on your belief system, and that's fine.
But, well, I don't even think that most religions, it messes that up either. It just
I'd agree with that.
In your religion too.
We got What About in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Ahoy.
Boy.
So are these all standalones, or are these one story that just kind of keeps evolving?
The Blood Witch is a standalone, although I did a prequel for that, and that's on my YouTube channel. You can hear me read through it. I use YouTube as an editor. I write something down, I put it on screen, try and find relative pictures that might match the story, and then I play back. And I did it mostly for my family and me, so they could figure out what I'm doing. And then after listening to it, I figured, well, I got too many words here. This phrase doesn't match. And I go back and I edit it and clean it up. But the Blood Witch is a standalone, except, like I said, there's a prequel, the Olganza Witches, which is on the YouTube. Children of the Directive, which I'm going to pull real soon because it's going to come up on this page, is on there. And Echoes of Nor. Children of the Directive is before these three, same universe, the Evolution, Revolution, and Resolution. Echoes of Nor is set 50 years at the end of those events. But it's basically one complete universe. New characters in most of them. There's only a few that continue throughout. And in some of them, they're just barely even mentioned. But if you were to pick up Revolution, I try, and I don't know if you do this or not. I still need to get your stuff. But in most novels, if they're a series, the first chapter or two tries to weave in the history of the book's preceding without making it like that. So you could just pick one up and be entertained by it. So I tried to do that. So if you pick up in the middle, it should be good, but there'll be little gaps and things you may have questions in.
I gotcha. Yeah. So preferential would be in order, but doesn't necessarily have to be.
Nah, it's not all that important, but it gives out huge spoilers, kind of messes things up.
I know
if you want the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, see, I know people who will grab like the fourth book in a series and start there and go backwards, and that drives me insane, absolutely insane. Because my brain just don't function that way.
My mom and dad, they both kind of read. My mom was a big reader, and I always saw her reading the last two pages first. and it drove me nuts. I said, "Why in the heck would you do that?" And she says, "Well, I got to know if I like the story." It just,
I think it's impatience, honestly, because it's kind of like
it could be.
It's like I just want to know what the end is, and then they'll know they can comfortably read, knowing where it's going to be, and it's just like I don't know. Yeah,
I can't help it, but I keep staring at that artwork that you have over there.
The only ones I have an artist that does these. The Evolution and the Blood Witch was done by my artist. The Blood Witch was all set to be published. That was the finished cover. The Evolution
I'm
was
talking about the top banner.
The that was just something I purchased. I have no idea who did it, but I have the rights to it.
God damn it! It's amazing. I would love to know like who did it, and
I don't know, but I absolutely loved it and said I had to have it, so I bought it.
That's something I really strived for a very long time to achieve, because as you can see, it's very, very rough and clean at the same time, and I just love that style. I can't do it because whenever I see some kind of rough strokes like that, I just feel the urge to clean it afterwards. So yeah, never ends up like that.
Well, we got Chris Fisk over here calling us all parasites.
Oh my god.
Which isn't exactly wrong.
I need to find a translation of this worm, Chris.
Well, Pale Rider says, wait, am I the guy on the stream? And wait, am I this guy on stream and I'm just hallucinating me being on my phone? Because this sounds like the kind of story I love and watch vids about. That might be me. Well, pick him up, Pale Rider. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, if you start on my YouTube for Children of the Directive, don't expect to be able to finish it, because I am almost done with editing and re-editing and editing. And when I'm done, I'm pulling it and I'm putting it on the my website. So the rest of them you have to buy.
Well, Fearsome Bullet says you must have your entire universe fleshed out if world building is easy. Props to you. Yeah. I mean that. I don't know about you, Adega. I tend to do that a lot in my mind, if nothing else. Like I write a lot of stuff down. But yeah, it's pretty much fleshed out in the brain before I go anywhere with it.
Yeah, I'm actually quite the same way. And characters aren't that tough for me because I cheat. And you've heard me say this before. The people that are in the books are actually dramatizations of people that I've known. So their personalities in the books are based on real people. The traumas they go through are based on people that I've seen in my office. Like if someone had, and I'm trying not to give anything away too badly, but if someone had been subject to serious abuse by people who worship odd things, that personality is put into the book with the same type of character dilemmas. Or somebody that is heroic, and we all know this, everyone in the chat knows now, they're destroying heroes because they don't like the fact that we can look up to somebody who sets an example for us to strive for. I have known people like that. You have known people like that. I put them in the books, and like I said, those grifter editors, they hated that because they represented what people
they saw themselves.
They saw how weak they were. Yeah. They saw how weak they were. They couldn't live up to this standard. Like when the Blood Witch was being edited, the women, the character there, and the reason why I bought this image here is because the character there is almost exactly, in my mind, one of the main characters from the book. And at the time, and they grow up during this, it's not a child story by any means, but at one point he's younger, later teen. And the editor was sending it back and reinforced by another editor, both of them were women, who said teenage boys only think about sex. They don't do things like this. And I had a fight. And fortunately, the publisher was not woke, a Marine, same with her husband, who they co-owned this thing. Great people. And they said, no, it's your story. You don't have to do that. I said, thank you, because otherwise I was leaving the company because I wasn't going to stand for it.
Well, and that's just goofy. I mean, yes, teenage boys think about sex a lot, but they think about all kinds of other things too.
Well, it's like based on that, then we like every thought. Hey, honey, how you doing? Boobs, and hungry, I guess.
Right.
But boobs.
Yeah, you come
titties,
home. How's it going, Mom? How about them tits?
Like,
But it
just,
was
yeah.
teenage boys that hit Normandy.
You know what? Like for the questions that everybody gets by the end, that was one of the questions I was actually browsing through, and that was like how many times do guys think about sex per day? So according to what you're saying, it should be probably constantly, right?
They don't stop. Yeah, it's just a
That's what they
constant
said.
flow according to these editors.
Right.
I love it
Like,
how you ended up all silent, all three of you. It was like it's.
Well, I thought you were
I
asking.
thought you were adding more to it, so I was
Right.
like,
No.
so you finished. I was like, okay, is there?
Yeah.
Okay,
See, I thought
yeah.
you were asking how many times do we think about it per day, and I was like, that depends on the day. Depends on the person.
Yeah, like you ended up being so silent that I was like, okay, so this is probably something.
You're like, oh no, it's true. Well, it's like, and if anything, it's like I guess it comes up more in our minds compared to women, I guess, where it's like you see something and you're like, hey, that kind of looks like boobs. Anyway, but it's brief thoughts.
yeah, let's get back to cars and blowing things up.
It's-
Oh wait,
it's-
she's
Those
hot.
are
Okay.
those are briefer in our things. We don't go in depth with the thought of that. So it's like, I don't think
Right.
most people do anyway. They don't go, man, I'm just all day. That's all, just, man. Just thinking about that. Oof, just
And
titties
it never
legs.
came
That's
up when
all
I
it
was
is.
It never came up when I was a teenager with my friends. We just didn't talk about it. We had better things to do, There was surf to ride, and there was cars to repair,
Well,
Just
a lot
the
more
things that we
distractions.
did.
There's a lot of distractions these days to keep us from those thoughts. So
Yeah.
So I say hi to Gregory DeGraff. He says hello from the Netherlands. Just in.
Hi.
What did I miss? We're just
Hello.
talking about Adega's books here, buddy.
and
Didn't miss too much yet, I don't think. CGH is in the house. What's up, man? So do you think maybe they're destroying heroes so they don't have to pay royalties? I think that's a part of it. I don't think that's the main part of it. I think the main part of it is messaging and that kind of nonsense. That's my
Yeah,
thoughts.
'cause
Anybody have
when
any
they
different
have-
thoughts?
When they own the royalties and they destroy them, like what's going on in a lot of the comics, or that I guess the people that created them may be one thing, but I think when they own the royalties and they destroy it, it's an agenda, or it's their lack of self-worth, and they're trying to pull everybody else down.
yeah.
Yes, babies are isms. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I think it's all about a shared goal that a lot of people have. We're not going to use certain words, but you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
No.
That's the major part of it. They're just trying to put things in people's brains and
Like
get
microchips.
it's control. In the end, I think it's mostly about control. Now, the reason they probably got rid of the Star Wars expanded universe and called that Legends, I think, that probably has a lot to do with royalties, and they can then mine those and just rename characters for their own story, so they don't have to pay royalties. That probably has a lot to do with it, but for the most part, I think it's just messaging and control. It's all about control. And I've gone completely off the format here. Let's talk a little bit about the universe that we're dealing with. So what kind of universe? I know you went into this a little bit, but if you want to go more in depth into it, like the overall universe.
Well, we got two there. Which one do you want?
Let's stick with the first three books you have here: Evolution, Revolution, and Resolution.
All right. Well, like I said, it's based 1,000 years in the future, and it was one of those things we had in my mind. I had to stretch because the only civilization that we have in popular science and everything that has 1,000 years in the future is, or far beyond, would be Star Wars. Like Star Trek is based several hundred years in the future. And you have things
Star
like
Wars is in the past, technically.
Well, right, but it's a Type 3 civilization where Star Trek is barely a Type 2.
Oh, advancement. Yeah.
But you're right, and thank you for correcting me.
And
But-
my nerdness will. Totally. Actually.
But when you go beyond what you would think Star Trek would be, like I said, with transporters and replicators, and I don't use transporters per se in mine. There's a reason for it. It's in the books. But say like a replicator. There are these machines where you create food and everything. We'll take that another 600 years in the future and take stolen technology. You can combine those things and make it into something very small, like a piece of jewelry that you wear around your neck or something. It's not important to the story per se, but that's where they are. You want a new set of clothes, you just program it and boom, it forms it on you. Nanite transporter type thing. Different technologies used to make food, to make clothing, to do different things. That's where these people live in the beginning of the stories. Most of where they live is a very almost paradisical, but the people are quite complacent because of it. They've lost track of what it means to struggle, kind of like what we're going through today. They have expanded far beyond Earth. They're actually intergalactic. They have cities in different worlds. One sec. These dogs are giving me a headache.
It's okay. So, Rick, you want to talk?
They are intergalactic, and they just take the choice planets. It's not where you go to every neighboring solar system and set something up. They pick what's best because there's nobody out there. And they reach a point where they get to about they're starting into their third galaxy when certain events start hitting where they find out that there's a lost history, that there are bad humans out there, and that there is something else out there that is much, much worse. So and it's one government for the most part. There's breakaways all over the place because the universe is so huge that you don't want to hang out with the Union. You set up way outskirts, but they're all kind of loosely related.
Right. So I'll say hi to Tina Bojan quick. Thanks for stopping by. Gregory says the answer is 42.
Every time.
Every time. Fearsome Bullet says, how much of the audience understand what is going on when watching the new Dune movie? Anybody seen that?
I have.
Nope.
I have too. Yeah, I didn't think it was hard to follow. And I'm not a big Dune fan either. Like, I've never read the books or anything. We got author Stephen Walton in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
Stephen boy.
Please do all of those things.
We were just talking about you yesterday.
They called the Forest Service.
Yes. We're just discussing what was it? Is it like a mix of dwarf, gnome, and dryad? But I kind of forgot what was the topic.
The topic was Hail the Squib Nation. How you doing? Got Nick Weiser in the house too. What's up, man? Says just got a copy of Sunsworn. Look forward to reading it. Well, thank you, my friend.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Let me know what you think. Keely Chow's in the house.
Hey,
What's up,
Keely
brother?
Chow.
Roll
How
Tide.
you doing? Admiral Wackass says it wasn't hard to follow at all if you read the books. Actually didn't go deep into anything from the books, really. That's cool. Yeah, that's, like I said, I never got to those books. I thought about it. They've been highly recommended. But I just, I have so much to read. I have a pile of books I haven't gotten to for like 2 years. And I really need to get on this. But yeah, Adega, if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of rush you through a little bit. We got
No, I don't mind at all.
Other folks. This wasn't our typical format because this isn't our typical interview, and that's cool. And our last interview actually isn't going to be typical either. But before we get you going, NyRiam always has a special question for everyone. Prepare yourself.
Is it gonna hurt?
Yes. And since you're our first guest, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the choice. Do you want the silly question or do you want to get a serious question? Huh?
What's the serious question? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear everything.
Silly or serious? That's the first choice you need to pick.
A silly or serious.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I've heard you do this before, but I missed it.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Right, I'm gonna flip a coin here. Okay, serious.
All right.
Penny said serious.
Okay, so the serious question for you is, what makes a person free in this world?
What makes a person free? That would be able to live a life free from bonds that prevent them from pursuing their own source of joy, so long as they're not interfering with somebody else's ability.
Whoa. Did you just say you want to live without bonds?
That's what he said.
That's what I said.
I'm
Yeah,
offended.
No James Bonds. Nope.
I'm just seriously offended. How can you live without bonds? I just don't know.
Here's the thing. I don't care if people get offended.
No time to cry.
God damn it! Now I got offended twice. I got offended twice on the 1 minute. Unbelievable.
Fisk says freedom is an illusion.
Of course, projected by our brain.
Wookie says, I just finished green eggs and ham. It's brilliant. He eats them at the end. Spoilers, sorry.
Here you can see an example of a free man.
Oh, yeah, Wookiees as free as they come.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Power Rider says, what makes a person free? Ammo and guns. There you go.
Simple as that.
Gregory says, I used to know that answer, but I stopped doing LSD 30 years ago.
That all the answers to the universe.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for stopping by, Adega. We'll definitely have you back and talk some more. Yeah, I know, because you got a big spread to talk about here. But yeah, we're gonna grab another guest, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, man.
Sounds great.
Alrighty, let's say hello to Chris Bradley. What's up, man?
Hey guys, thanks for letting me on.
Absolutely.
What up?
How you doing?
I'm good. Just enjoying some of these indie creators that you have on here. I like the way that stuff looks from Adega.
Yeah, man, he's a smart dude. I'll tell you. I've had the pleasure of speaking to him a number of times now, and yeah, he's an intelligent individual. He is like, my form of entertainment is more, fantasy out there, just but his is much more scientific, much more in depth, much more intelligent, I dare say.
Very cerebral. Very cerebral.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, not at all like some of the projects I've been working on. Although this one, this Thin Blue Line is kind of intelligent. The last one that I messed around with Mike was Florida Man, which was not cerebral at all. So it's more of a funny book.
Well, since we got you here with a project to talk about, I can use the actual format. So let's dig in. What do you say?
Beautiful. Yeah, we're real happy with how this book is picking up some speed. We're real happy with it. It's Thin Blue Line. You've got it there on the screen. It's definitely.
One second, Chris. 1 second.
Yeah, you go.
I gotta play my goofy little promos. So yeah, give us the pitch for Thin Blue Line.
That's a nice stinger. That's not goofy at all. I like that. I actually, my full-time gig is video production, so I'm here at the studio right now. Mike Barron and I hooked up a year and a half or 2 years ago working on another book, and so he came to me with this one and said, man, I got a story about a lady cop. And the first thing I thought of was 1975's DC Comics Lady Cop, where they created a character that the CW later screwed up completely, making her a villain. And this story it's a police story. I mean, it's gritty. It's back on the streets, like Mike Barron cut his teeth with the Punisher. And this kind of deals with what police officers deal with,
Chris,
when things go bad. Yeah.
Real quick, could you turn your audio up a little bit? The chat's saying they're having trouble hearing you.
Is this any better?
Yeah, that's much better.
It's just a dud of a mic. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Let me know, Pale Rider. He's our ultimate critic in the chat.
Yeah, I like a good critic. Thank you for that correction. Thank you for that feedback. Thin Blue
Sorry.
Line, basically, it's just a lady cop. She's a Hispanic woman. She's a single mom. She's kind of new to the force, been on the force a couple of years. And the mayor of this town starts placating and acquiescing to the crowd that got upset over a police shooting. So it's kind of ripped from the headlines. And we don't really get into the validity or necessity of that police shooting because we're really following Valeria Baca, who is our protagonist. And she's just kind of dealing with what's going on. She's trying to protect her community. She's trying to raise her family. She one of the factors in the story is she's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner. She goes up one belt to a purple belt at the beginning of the book. And that comes in real handy for her as we go through the story. She's definitely not a Mary Sue. I know some people, including Bleeding Fool, have railed against that issue in movies these days.
Yep.
And really, Mike wasn't even trying to tick the inclusion and diversity boxes. He never does. He's just always trying to entertain. But it just sort of fell that way. And when Mike approached me about it, they had the penciler is actually an active duty police officer, Joseph Arnold. And the inker is Jeff Slimmons. And they had already written the story. They had already drawn it. All the pages were done. And I told Mike, I said, man, this is hot. This is such an exciting story. And it's kind of relevant. You know, it's zeitgeist. It kind of exposes sort of the issues that are behind the defund the police movement. But it also doesn't shy away from the ethics problems that sometimes tempt police. There's a character in this book that winds up being sort of a handicap for the police force that's trying to do the right thing. And I said, man, this is so good. So I checked out some of the publishers that I'm familiar with just to see if they would pick it up, and even went to all of Mike Barron's previous publishers. You know, he's been published by not just DC and Marvel, but also like Dark Horse and others. And man, nobody would touch this book with a 10-foot pole. And I think it's just because it's kind of policing in America, making the hero of your book a cop is kind of, I don't know. I guess it's
taboo these days.
Yeah, which was unfortunate. So Mike said, well, if we can't get it picked up, let's just see if we can crowdfund it again. So we did.
Oh, very cool.
Cool.
Well, tell us, speaking of you fine folks, tell us a little about yourself and your creative team.
I love that stinger.
Where'd your passion come from? Are you the writer on this?
No, Mike Barron's the writer. I'm just the editor. I came at this just as a person that loves comics and sort of the editor as far as the dialogue, and I'm the project manager, if you will. And I guess I'm going to wind up being the publisher too, because I've got the printer lined up, I've got the book specs and everything laid out for this thing. So I'm really more of the production side than the creative side.
Gotcha. Can you tell us a little bit about Mike and his background?
Oh yeah, Mike Barron's an Eisner Award-winning, Inkpot Award winner. He created Nexus. He created The Badger. He wrote The Punisher for 5 years. He wrote The Flash over at DC, Green Lantern. He's been writing novels for the last 10, 15 years or so. He's got an extensive library you can check out on Amazon. And Mike wrote Florida Man, which is how we hooked up together, was his Florida Man comic book. He's not really been doing superheroes much lately, which is sort of where this comes in, a little more realism. But Mike's a prolific writer. He writes every day, and this story he conceived last year. And the artist is Joseph Arnold. Joseph, I mentioned earlier, is an active duty police officer, but he did all the pencils and layouts for this book. And then Jeff Slimmons came along and did all the finishing. He did the backgrounds and inked everything. Our colorist is Iksan Ansari, who I've worked with before on a couple of other projects. And our letterer, if he's not too busy, is going to be Warren Montgomery. Warren did the last book for us. and we've gotten guys like Sergio Cariello and Butch Geis did the cover.
Nice.
Very cool.
I like the contrast of the, in the pictures. It kind of reminds me of some stuff I've been doing. The hard contrast between the dark and light.
Yeah, you've got a really beautiful, distinct style. I like this style a lot. It reminds me of old. I've told Jeff this before. I'm an old school fan of the old black and white Conan comics, and this guy reminds me a little bit of Ernie Chan. The way these guys put this book together, I really like it black and white.
Cool,
man. Yeah, I like some of your throwbacks here.
I see. Are you guys still having problems with my sound? Is it really still crappy?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how it's coming through on YouTube.
But when you were having the microphone, right next to your mouth, that was cool.
Well, I'll just keep it right here.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend it's a big goatee.
Big ice
do
cream.
that. Awesome. And what about can hear you okay?
Okay,
Wiki
good.
can hear you okay.
Thanks, chat.
I hope. Yeah, I think everything's good. Hopefully.
All right, good deal.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the universe itself. So, just what kind of setting are we dealing with? I'm assuming a pretty realistic, like modern day type setting.
Oh yeah, it's modern day. It's current year. It's in Illinois, Hayden, Illinois, I think, and it says it on the next page. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the page 1 of the book. It's current year. Yeah, up in the corner there. Hayden, Illinois. And this is, it starts out, she's at training. And one of the cool things about this is this is a real thing that some police officers do, is they train in martial arts so that they can take down suspects without hurting themselves, without hurting others. And that plays a big factor in this story. One of the neat things about the penciler being a cop is he was able to really sort of give it some authenticity, make sure it was genuine, make sure everything lined up and was realistic. So none of these moves that she's doing are out of the ordinary. As a matter of fact, we've seen a little 7-year-old girl that takes this Brazilian jiu-jitsu do the same thing to a large man. It's actually, it doesn't seem real when you see it, but it's out there on YouTube. You can see these kids taking down big adults with this Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which again plays a big factor into the book. But it's real world, it's real universe.
It just reminded me a while ago. I was just browsing internet, and I found this funny video of some British police officer trying to catch, basically arrest this person, and like seriously, like she was so clumsy, it was almost funny.
Keystone Cops. I mean, there's a reason for that rumor, right? It's real.
Right. All right, let's talk about your heroes in this. Now, is it one primary protagonist?
Well, you've actually got a small handful, but your main protagonist is Valeria Baca, the single mom. She is the main focus, and the story's sort of told through her eyes.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, let's move on to the villains. What kind of antagonists are we dealing with here? Is it going to be one primary opponent, or are we going to have like organizations? Are we going to have?
There's different levels. Yeah, there's different levels. So I mentioned earlier that there's a cop with some ethics issues. Let me stop this timer here real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Yep.
I need to make this quick. You've got another villain who is sort of a street thug, because in the midst of these riots that start up because of the. Oh my gosh, how many timers do I have going off? I apologize. This is
All of
worse than
them.
dogs.
That's all good. We got one more question after this one, so we
Yeah,
can
my
breeze
bad. I
it through.
stopped them all. Oh my gosh. The and then there's one other sort of hidden. I don't want to give too much away, but there's 3 levels of bad guys in this. It's the big boss is. It's kind of a fun reveal.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Well, NyRiam, are you ready?
I'm always ready.
All right, let's do it. We like to end each segment with just an unusual question from NyRiam.
Yes. Are you ready for this one? It's
Ready
probably
as
a
I'll ever be.
question nobody asked you before, but do you think we could ever cover the earth with pudding?
I think only if we use Jell-O chocolate pudding, because that's all I keep seeing on the shelves. There's plenty of it out there.
That's a perfect choice there.
Wouldn't it be fun to try? It would be fun to try.
That is a good point with supply issues right now. It might be difficult to cover the earth in
Sure.
pudding.
Does fudge count as pudding?
No.
No.
No. Although there is fudge flavored pudding. Good question.
It didn't sound too interested there, critic.
No, I don't want to go there. Hey, real quick before I go, I would like to say, I'm the editor over at Bleeding Fool, and every Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, we do feature, and we featured NyRiam's book when she was crowdfunding it before. Anybody that wants to get just a quick interview and get their book project crowdfund, even if they're not crowdfunding, maybe they're doing other self-publishing, just email me at contact@bleedingfool.com and we'll get you in there.
Very cool. Contact
Awesome.
at bleedingfool.com if anybody
That's
didn't
right.
catch that.
Yes.
Very cool.
That's
Thank you very much,
cross-promotion
Chris.
for you.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you,
sure,
guys.
man. We
Thanks
appreciate
so
what you
much.
guys do over there, too.
I appreciate you guys squeezing me in. Thin Blue Line, it's on Indiegogo. Check it out. Thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yep, I'm about
Everybody.
to head out. I'm about to head out real quick. I'm gonna eat some chicken.
Well, fine, rookie. I was getting tired of you anyway.
Some applewood chicken drumsticks. Oh,
Okay,
You
yeah,
know
keep
what?
on rubbing it in.
Kick him out. Kick him out. Come on, kick him.
oh
Kick him.
yeah, I'm gonna have soda with it. Oh my god! All right, you guys have a good one.
Go eat
Take
some
it easy,
soy.
Rook.
Go eat some
Enjoy
soy.
your dinner, Dick.
Wow.
Let's say hi to Steve Dye. What's up, man?
Hi.
So wait a minute. There's not going to be drumsticks. What the fuck?
Only at Rookie's house. Apparently, he's being a little selfish with his
Yeah.
dinner choices.
Rubbing it. He's been salty lately.
Yeah.
He's kind of
Just
a
when I show up, he
scumbag.
takes his ball and goes home. What
Yep.
the hell?
He takes his chicken and goes home. So what's up, man? How you
Man.
doing?
All right. How you doing, guys?
Very
Yeah.
good. Very
Ready?
good.
I know. Always happy to be here with the deep, dulcet tones of the red guys.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna catch up with the chat a little bit. I think I was leaving them hanging there. Pale Rider said, sounds like one of my strippers in a casting couch. I think that's supposed to be couch. Awesome one said, great,
Casting.
soft and fuzzy.
I hope it's not a curse.
Yeah,
know?
casting curse would kind of suck.
Yeah, casting couch would be good. Casting curse. I don't want that. Yeah.
Yeah, who wants that?
Yeah, Wookie was following up with stripper casting. I tried that once, but she wouldn't quit screaming once we started pouring the molten iron on her. What the? Wow.
Not me.
Professionalism, please.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I guess you gotta read that fine print when you get on those casting couches.
I saw Wookiee Supremacy post some fairly deep philosophy earlier in the chat, and now he's talking about. I mean, some hot wax is one thing, dude, but molten iron. Slow down.
Yeah, he's a little hardcore. He lives in the backwoods, I think we got kind of a Texas chainsaw type situation with at Rookie's house.
Yeah. Whatever you get
Could be
into
wrong.
up in the woods, brother, you do you.
The man gotta do what a man gotta do.
Yeah, going in deep. That's right, Tommy. So, Steve, before we get rolling, I saw you post something cool on Twitter the other day, and I just wanted to share that with everybody before we really get into it.
but that's better than this video. Let's just play this one, not the other one.
Does this have audio on it?
No, F it, dude. Nobody wants to hear me talk. And I could make a magazine if you want one about comics and Comicsgate. Here it is.
Well, you're here to talk, man.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to hear you talk. That's why they're here. Yeah, that's a great.
I'll do the best.
That's a great flip through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this isn't going to be the
Thank
traditional format we use, but yeah, just tell us a little bit about this rocket project and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate maybe being removed from those stingers because, I think I appreciate the production value, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure how to even answer that. But I can answer this. Rocket's a magazine about Comicsgate and independent comics. It's got in-depth interviews with 4 or 5 guys that were there. I was there in 2018. I don't know. I mean, it was fairly arbitrary, but I got some interviews with Malin and Art Bear and a drunken. It's more of a pub crawl than an interview with Cecil.
Right.
But I took notes, and yeah, so so it's got that stuff in it, but it's also got I think it's 8. I don't know. I've lost track of the math. I know it's 120 pages. And I know that I've got, Camara in there with an excerpt from his book and talking about what he's managed to do in the past 2 or 3 years in comics.
You got Chimera in here?
Got guys that have hung in there and put out I know that laugh when he's a Canadian, but I'm not prejudiced, dude. I'm not racist against Canadians at all. I'm down with my brothers in the North. But it's an amalgamation of all that, and the idea would be if some people would buy it, I'd put out some more, and I'd spread the love around, and highlight some other creators that have done exceptionally well, and talk to them about how they did it, because each one of them has done it very much differently than the other.
Yeah,
not just the creative process, but the marketing process. There is no roadmap. There's no.
You're going a little bit bravado.
Yeah, getting a little bit of robot action. But yeah, there's definitely no real roadmap for anybody. It is each person's path is very different, and it is cool to hear other people's stories and how they got here.
Yep. I'm just checking out the crew that's standing right there, and I'm just remembering, that Shane Davis was just closing out his stream. So I'm just guessing he's probably sitting in the rocket right now.
Well, he's getting ready to meet the cats in space.
Yes.
Space cats.
I don't think.
Well, yeah.
I don't think he was able to take the fact that werewolves are just superior
to cats. Well,
yes.
to domestic cats, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that.
Sound like, come on.
Steve, what kind of projects or which projects are featured in this?
Oh man, I'm going to leave something out. You're going to put me on the spot. Some of the obviously major names speak for themselves. I got a little Q&A with Narwhal. Also, there is also Narwhal lifestyle advice in this magazine. So if you want to, get some tips on personal hygiene from Narwhal.
Narwhal, wait a minute. Narwhal is not the guy to go to for personal hygiene tips.
Well, they're right there in print. If you want them, just buy the stupid book. But no, I mean, I've got a more condensed, but Q&A with Narwhal about what was he doing before, how did he get into this, how has he parlayed being a guy that was slicing cold cuts at the deli into being a guy that has a burgeoning career in making comic books. And then I've got help me out here, guys. Do it with your full video narration voice. Nosferatu? How did you say
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Thank you. I can't pull it off. But anyway, you know,
Yeah.
I've got a preview of his upcoming vampire movie book. Let's see, man, yeah. I've got an excerpt from the Lost Pages with the Diaz brothers, and in addition to having a Q&A with Phil about what him and Brandon are up to, he was also good enough to actually write. I've got a couple of 3 tutorials. And it's a little bit Comics 101, and yeah, you can find it on YouTube, or you can get it, you know, you can get your information anywhere you want. But Eric Weathers pointed out the 6 most common pitfalls in comics lettering. That was very kind of him. You know, he's one of the major interviews in the book. Phil Diaz wrote a really nice, you know, he talks about Stephen Bissett, who did Swamp Thing back in the 90s and was kind of a big influence on. I mean, Phil's such a pup, and he's still looking back at stuff that, I mean, what the hell was he? 3 years old when they were doing the good Swamp Thing? You know what I mean?
That's something I always found interesting about Phil and Brandon both. Like they're
Yeah.
very old souls for being so young.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of knowledge about things that you know, were from my childhood.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I don't mean to digress, but I mean, at this point, my age has caught up with my soul. But I've kind of always been one of those guys that's interested in how these, I don't know, craftsmen. How about that? I'm going to go with craftsmen.
That works.
Yesteryear built what they built. And yeah, it knocks me out that Phil's really a student of comics. And I'm stoked that Magic Cop 2's, I don't know, like at 30, and the Lost Pages 2 is hitting 20 now. And it's well deserved because, I mean, he does all the work for sure.
Yeah.
But he's also a student of comics and a really talented writer.
Yeah, man, that's a hustle you got to respect.
Well, so back to the hustle. I respect Camara. Camara came out with SOS, and it's funny, man. I mean, it's funny. It makes me laugh out loud. It was one of those things that, I mean, Camara kind of shoved it into my inbox, quite frankly. You know, I'm not really a black and white comics guy for the most part. I mean, you know, I've read everything and, you know, forgot most of it. But it was really funny. And he was like, would you help me out with this and that? And then it really came to my attention. And now he's doing this thing with Testament that's a much more sweeping, epic story with all this mythos of the 5 lands and all of that stuff. And it's really effing cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, you know. Anyway, yeah. And Camara's another guy that's another deal where I digress. But guys like Phil, guys like Drew-ish, who's now working on Heartless while still doing his next edition of Captain Love. Guys they've fulfilled 3 or 4 books, you know, and they're going to keep on fulfilling books, and they're putting out good books. So I'm way off in the field here.
No, that's all right.
Way off in the weeds. Who's in there?
The problem.
Excerpts.
The problem is that you have so many cool people to talk about and so many awesome stories. You know,
of
different creators. That it's easy to get off in the weeds talking about
Vault Cobalt is a little bit of an outlier. Not really, but Vault Cobalt is, for the most part, some of the independent guys. You know, I'm not trying to put anybody on a particular shelf, you understand, but I like the hustle, and I like the guys that are creative and are trying really hard. Vault Cobalt's got his book Havoc excerpted in there, and you know, you were kind enough to talk about Havoc and also Trials and Triumphs, you know, on your show, you know, earlier when it was. But I don't think enough people got their eyes on that, and part of Vault's story is that he just bootstrapped it. You know, he wanted to write a story. He wanted to do a comic book, and he saved up $6,000 or $7,000 to get the art done, and that would have been all for naught. Except that it's a really pretty satisfying kind of twisty crime '90s noir of a comic book, and it deserves a look.
Now, don't spoil
Yeah.
that too much for me because that's one I have but haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, pick you one up, man. I mean, you won't be disappointed. It's well done. And so anyway, I don't know who have I left out. I don't know. I don't know who I've left out. My apologies to anybody that I left out. You know I love you, boys.
I'd like to ask you, like, how long have you been in the field of typography?
I've been producing mainstream, national, and occasionally international magazines for, well, I did about 20 years at it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can definitely see that.
I know how to put it together. And I got to give a big shout out, even though it's a little bit verboten, but you know, I mean, it's Red Gaze's channel. Nobody talks about what they hear here, right?
Everyone talks about it.
I know. I know. Now, I mean, you know, he's kind of, he is now bound to chasing mainstream success, and I hope it works out great. And he's still kind of my secret weapon. But anyway, yeah, 3D Robin did some of the images and backgrounds, you know, the little rocket lattice thing that's underneath, you know, the little lattice looking, yeah. 3D Robin's an invaluable resource when it comes to, I know what I want to do. Would you just give me the assets to do that? And then he's like, well, what is it you want? I'm like, I want rockets, but in the background that I can, you know, I can pull back and, you know, about 20%. And then they're like curving through space. It's like, ah. So anyway, shout out to 3D Robin that I shouldn't give because he's got a pretty good mainstream gig with a, I can't
it's
say.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, I know he was around a lot before. He was doing a lot of cool stuff.
He did a lot of cool stuff.
Wasn't he been working on a video game?
Yeah, he was working on a Cyberfrog video game and, you know, a couple of projects of his own. And I'm getting way out there in the weeds when I say he's working on a video game that he's working on 3 video games that sell very, very well right now. And
very nice. Well, congratulations to him. Like I don't begrudge anybody. Look, if you can get a job in the mainstream,
the guy. Yeah, I don't want to dox the guy, but I'm bragging on him. Yeah, he's yeah. He has succumbed to the lure of a mainstream paycheck. It's working out really well for him, and yet he still takes my calls. So sorry, 3D, but I got to give you a shout out.
Yeah, and God bless him.
Yeah, God bless him.
So besides kind of like creator interviews and pieces of like clips from stories that are going to be in this, what else can we look forward to?
Well, I'm trying to spread the love around a little bit. You know, the super fan art, there are some great guys. There's a few pages of that. And to me, again, I want to know about the process. When I see somebody like, I always butcher this name too, can't help it, but Iger Bonger, or, you know, Jay Potts that's next to it on what you've got the screen on right now. Mm-hmm. You know, not only am I like, that's freaking great, but I also want to know what gets into you that you spend however many days it takes to produce this because you're a fan of everything that's going on, and also how the hell did you do it? You know, is it digital? Is it traditional? What tablet did you use? You know, I want to know all that stuff. So, you know, not only does it give me a chance to feature some of these really great artists that aren't really actively, at this point at least, trying to create a book, but they are big fans and they show it with the quality of their artwork. But, you know, I'm like, I want that picture, but also I need a few words about, Johnny Cage. Speaking of which, Johnny Cage. I'm like, Johnny, I want that. And also I need a paragraph or two about why did you do it? How did you do it? What's going on with your head? You know, I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Johnny Cage is another hidden talent that kind of tries to stay hidden, but kind of puts some stuff out every now and then.
I mean, it sounds pretty highfalutin and overly ambitious based on, quite frankly, I thought it would have had a little more traction than this. I didn't have vast aspirations, but I thought it would have had a little more traction. But it, you know, it really is kind of designed as something I've wanted to do for quite a while now. You know, some people know that this, I'm not getting into that nonsense, but Yeah. I'm not getting into that, but it's you know, I want to promote some talent, and what I can actually do pretty well is make magazines. Something that I've done for a lot of years about various subject matter that I'm passionate about. And I'm pretty passionate about creativity in general. I'm certainly passionate about comic books, and I've about had it with the bullshit where it's more about some sort of nonsense progressivism than it is about making good stories.
Yeah.
So
That's the story
anyway,
itself.
that's basically my pitch in general. I know you don't have like those little stingers prepared for something off the wall like this, but it's a magazine about the people that, you know, it's aimed at a particular audience for sure. Perhaps it's a niche audience, but if you like all this stuff, this is 120 pages. It's full-size magazine format. It's not printed on tissue paper, man. You know, I mean, I'm not going to skimp on the cost, and
Right.
you're going to be
And-
happy that you bought it. It's $20.
And this
Just
is
buy the
something.
stupid book.
Yeah, this is something you can also use to kind of maybe educate some people in your lives that have misconceptions about certain things. You know, just put this in front of them, let them get the words from the people themselves.
In some ways, I was on with Cecil earlier, and there was some talk about it being a chronicle of comics gig, and I think that's a moving target. And if it could serve as that in some way, that'd be great. But I really think it's a moving target. At the same time, it definitely has to me, it's more important that the focus is on creativity, the creators, how different people achieve their end result, and and how it works to take an idea that is in your mind and turn it into something tangible. And if it's something that people want, sweet.
Because I really enjoy the fact that you have all these creator interviews and just like picking their brains, because there's a lot of really intelligent people that have a lot of things to share and knowledge to spread around, and that's a really cool part of this. Real quick, we got Stefan in the chat. He says, "Hail chat, hail panel. Where's my Bizarro?"
In the
not quite
woods
sure.
hunting the birches.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Walton. Yeah, I mean, God only knows. He's probably got something in places they shouldn't be. That'd be my guess.
Yeah. And a coffee or something wouldn't. Vampires hate him.
Absolutely. Katie, you have any questions? Any follow-up questions you want to ask Steve?
Well, I have one question that I'm kind of waiting for.
Oh yeah. Keep on waiting for that one. But yeah, man, I do that. Like, that's one of the things I really liked about this whole concept is just getting in there and picking at people's brains, showcasing some work that's going on, and especially the fact that you got some like smaller creators in here too. I really love that, because I think those are the people that need most of the love.
I mean, and again, I want it to be a rotating. It's going to be nobody that's in this one. If I do another one, buy my book so I can do another one. But if I do another one, I mean, by and large, it's going to be a whole new cast, because there's that much talent out there. So I definitely want to have it kind of. I don't know, there's so much stuff out there. But yeah, when you talk about I have a chance to talk to most of these guys anyway, but actually they were Art T. Bear, a guy that's done a long run on Superman and a long run on Spider-Man and everything in this whole industry.
And a genuinely good guy, by the way.
He's the best guy. He's the best guy. And that's why I'm going to use him as an example that, I mean, I realize that you can hear these guys talk and they will tell stories. And Art's one of the best to tell stories, let me tell you. But, he gave me 3 hours of just direct one-on-one, me asking a follow-up question. And God knows it's transcribing a 3-hour interview.
Oh, I can imagine.
I digress. And it's unfortunate that, 2 hours and 15 minutes of that is going to hit the cutting room floor. There's only so much that'll fit in 10 pages. I mean,
Right.
it's a long. If you're not interested in this stuff, then don't buy it. I know it's verboten to say, but if you want to read about Archie Bear, being a guy that was in a band, and really what prompted him into getting into what he does now is that he'd always drawn, and guys that were in his band and guys that were in other bands in Southern California saw that he could draw, and we're like, hey man, do my poster. Hey man, do my album cover. And that's actually what I don't know. I don't want to give you spoilers, but anyway, I mean, when you get to talk to, Eric Weathers, when you just talk to him for a couple of hours, I talk to Eric all the time about various, hey, you got that file? No, I got that file. You get that? What's going on with this? But to just be like, screw all that. Let's talk about how'd you get into comics? And I know what you were doing with Flying Fortress and how you're trying to do it conventionally with really low print runs on the campaign circuit and then Comics Gate. I don't know, man. All these guys got a story and they're all different. I'll shut up about it, but it was it was fun to put together because they gave me a lot of time. They were very gracious with their time. And, Malin mostly yelled and griped a lot. But, not at me, just about. We wound up talking, me and Malin. It so happened that I'm like, dude, this is when we got to do this now. And then it was right when the whole Kickstarter versus Indiegogo thing was going on. And I'm like, dude, this is a moment in time. Can we get back on point here? I want to talk about how you used to be some kind of plumber, and now you're making $1 million making comic books.
Right.
He's like, yeah, but these fuckers with their Kickstarters. I'm like,
that's a whole nother.
Well, yeah, even
bag of worms.
you know what I mean? This is probably more of a backstage rant than a front stage rant, I realize. But, Comics Gate's a fast moving train. You can break an ankle getting on or off this son of a bitch easy,
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
Listen, I always tell everybody, look, just use whatever platform you can, because most of the time when you're told not to use this platform and not to use that platform, you're being told that from YouTube or Twitter, which are two platforms that despise us. So, whatever you got to do to try and get your story told, get your thing going, do it. I'm all about it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm obviously, I'm down with Malin. I'm Team Malin on that one for sure, but. In as much as I keep telling him that I'm like, yeah, John, I agree. Now let's get back to what you're doing as the assistant image. Let's talk about that. He's like, yeah, but God damn it, we carved this ground out. We planted our flag in the ground. I'm like, I know, John. I know. I was there, bro.
No,
anyway, what about image?
But crap. There was a question I was going to ask you, and I completely slipped out of my mind.
It's fun putting it together. That's my real point.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Eric Weathers and the lettering, like the pitfalls in lettering, that's something I'm particularly interested in because that's something I've recently taken up. So that'd be a cool read for me.
Well, I'll front it to you, dude. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But it was funny where. Me and Eric were talking. This was like way back, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this thing. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm doing this. He's like, why? I was like, Malin said it'd be a good idea. And he's like, that's stupid. Yeah. Well, Malin said it'd be a good idea. This is where you wind up in places like this. Malin's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. More of your print files, bro. Send me money. And anyway, where was I? Yeah, Weathers, lettering. I was like, why don't you do me a tutorial about the 5 or 6 main things that you and me wound up exchanging emails about? And he's like, yeah, I could do that. And I'm like, it'd make our life easier. And he's like, yeah, that'd be good. So that's how that went.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like everybody in here has something different to offer, like a different perspective to offer, different knowledge to impart. And I think that's one of the really cool things about what you're doing here.
Yeah. Well, it's just you see the same ultimately what you want to do if you're making a comic book, if you'll allow me to wax poetic for a moment, it's
Sure.
more prosatic than poetic, but you want to get it out. And if you can eliminate the really simple mistakes, that'd be good. And, you know, people cut and paste from a Word document into a lettering document, and it matters. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I'm not gonna go into it right here, but there's a lot of things that would be like easily avoidable that will cost you 6, 8, 10 days of production time because you didn't just realize that, oh, this is what happens every fucking time.
Right.
So maybe I won't do it. And that'll be better. So
Yeah, make your life a little easier.
yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we're going to have to wrap this up here because Tommy's going to be starting his stream really soon. In about 4 minutes, everybody head over to Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Check out him and Vinny talking about collectible past, all kinds of cool stuff on there, retro toys and whatnot. But Tommy's my bro, so I don't want to run over him. But before we head out, NyRiam, of course, has that special question she'd like to ask.
And of course, we kept the best as last.
Oh.
Listen, what's something you do alone that you can't do with others?
I know there's an obvious answer here, but use your imagination.
Come on. You can do it.
I'm gonna go with I go big off of jumps on my dirt bike.
Is it intimidating to have an audience for that?
Yeah, I'm into it really. I'm a bit of a show off. There's if there's people standing around, I might whip it out a little bit.
So you don't want your friends to be like don't cover my shine, dude.
I didn't really follow that last one. Yeah, that's what What can I only do on my own? I can ride my dirt bike, and that's the best thing on earth. It's too bad I'm aging out. If this Rocket Magazine thing didn't really take off, I'm going back out on the motocross circuit. I think I can get my pro card back.
So it sounds like you got a win-win either way.
Hell yeah.
You're cool, guys. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here and sticking by and checking out some of these cool projects. Definitely check out Rocket. All the links are in the description below, except for the Thin Blue Line. That one I'm going to be putting in here shortly. And we also talked about Adega Outlaw. Cool. Yeah, man. Definitely come back. We'll try to maybe we'll do a stream outside of this one, have a little bit more of an in-depth conversation.
Yeah. I'd like to hear more from Chris. Especially if I'm not using my phone. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would.
Let's shut this thing down already, guys. What are we doing?
We're just dicking around, but yeah. Appreciate everybody. Thank you very much. Remember, if you can't afford or something doesn't quite pique your interest, just spread the word a little bit. Retweet helps out a ton. Just tell your family and friends. But yeah, we appreciate everybody who's been supporting both the channel and the projects and everything. You guys are just amazing. So thank you very much.
The best.
We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you.